it increases the likelihood that he will again. So that's in our substance use disorder, diba? Like in withdrawal in alcohol, because there's withdrawal, and the person knows that if he drinks alcohol, mawala ang withdrawal, then himundo na niya balik-balik. Okay? Sige. So, nagging parent, if leaving the house actually makes you not hear the nagging anymore, then that increases the likelihood of leaving the house in the future. Okay? And discomfort from extremely cold weather, entering a building terminates the discomfort, so on and so forth. Okay. You want, it's positive reinforcement. If you present something but it this ball in sessions. Session 1 includes overview, presentation, and defining and observing behavior. So first course, goal setting. You set goals with your parents. You always ask them, no, what is it that goal is when you attend this PMT? Okay? So some would say, I want to be a better parent. Some would, but again, when we set goals, diba, the goal should be smart. It should, okay? You might. Hello, Mike? Ba si Mike? How about Mekong?
Yes, up.
Yeah. Okay. So can you give us, can you tell us what should go, how, diba? Just like in your objectives, in your search, you set objectives, diba? How should the objectives be like? How do you know that your goal is a good goal, no? Or it's how do I ask this? Parang how do you set goals? Yes. Tama. Okay, so specific. So let's set an example for that. If the goal of the parent would be less fights, okay, how do you make it specific? But isn't that your M, which is measurable? Yes, no? Hello? Ayun, Mike, sorry. Hello? Did I get that correctly? That when you say more specific, you're saying that more hugs? But we're talking about your parent wanting less fights. No? So I think with specific, we're saying that we should make the term fight more specific. Like what would it mean fight for them? Is that ano ba? Clear? For example, if they pertain to fight as shouting at each other, right? Okay, so pwede. And then when you said M, measurable, so from, for example, every day to 2 times a week, for example, no? And then what is A? Okay, is it attainable, that goal? Okay, and then R would be realistic. Is it realistic to have less shouting? Okay, and then T would be, so how do you make it time bound? Okay. So thank you, Mike. So that's good, no? So have them, if two parents are attending your PMT, then have them set each of them to have 3 goals, no? It can also be not about parenting. Like, for example, they can say that lessen the time I drink alcohol this week, no? Probably caused by parenting, diba? So pwede gihapon. All right. So, okay. So then, if you look at your PMT manual, next would be identifying behavior. So, understand that a lot of parents are confused, no, on what behaviors are. So, you really have to identify, no. You have to help them understand or define behavior. So, again, what are behaviors, gane? These are measurable, observable actions, no? Such as running, right? Crying, no? Swearing, fighting with other children. If you say having a bad attitude, can you count this one? No, no? Feeling bad? No, right? So these are non-behaviors. So it's important to identify that with your parents because the next chart that they would need to fill up would be to list their child's problem behavior. So dapat pag mag-list sila behaviors, clear gyud, no? Dili pwede naman yung sila sigig pabadlong. What does that mean? Pabadlong. Right? It should really be defined. Kung musugo ko musyagit siya. Ana no, musyagit, so shouting. That's clearly a behavior, okay? Mangaway og laing bata. Mangaway, what does that mean? Pwedeng teasing, no? Or pwedeng hitting. Okay? So that should be clear to your parents. So, sorry, if you look at your PMT manual, na jud to yung mga portion that is called session worksheets. That is what you give to the parents. Before that, those are your references. Okay? So, ang session worksheets ang imong ihatag sa imong parent. If you're doing virtual, pwede ka nimo i-send sa ilang email, no? Or through an app that you use for virtual consults. Okay. So now that they identified problem behaviors, they can identify more than 4. Pero better good, no? To be more realistic, set ka to yung 4 major behaviors that they want to change or alter. After this, if they identify the problem behaviors, now you introduce positive opposites. So positive opposites are what? Yes, Des. Thank you for raising your hand. Hello, Des.
Hello po, Doc. Sorry po, Doc. Hindi ko po na, Doc, medyo na nasabi po.
Yeah, so I'm asking you, what are positive opposites? How do you understand positive opposite behaviors?
Um,
May I answer it,
Here.
Madam?
Yes, Dave.
Okay. Positive opposite behavior is the behavior that the parent wants to see instead of the problem behavior po. Like, kasi kabaliktaran po siya, Doc. Like, not minding to minding.
That's
Yung-
right. No, so it is the behavior that they want to see in their child. So dapat behavior gyapon siya, ha? Like let's say, Doc, gusto na ko magbinutan na ni siya. What does that mean, binutan? No, what does that mean, butan? So it should really be the positive opposite of the problem behavior. Shouting, what's the positive opposite of that?
Not shouting po.
Sige, try again. Shouting, the positive opposite would be?
Speaking calmly, expressing
That's
their
right.
feelings po.
Okay, speaking calmly. Okay? Sige. What else? How about hitting? Hitting when angry. What would be the positive opposite?
Expressing the emotion through words.
That's
Yeah,
right. Using words. Tama. Very good. Sorry, very good, Dave, for giving the positive opposite of that problem behavior. So later we'll talk about praises, no? Teasing, talking nicely, fighting with our children, playing cooperatively. So those are the examples. Okay, so it's important that you help the parent identify the positive opposite of the problem behaviors that they identified. Okay, so next up is prompts. Okay, so usually ang prompts, di ba, what is it? With the ABCs of behavior, which category do prompts fall in? Sa ABCs?
Antecedents, Doc.
That's right. So a lot of times, antecedents set by parents, the prompts set by parents are not so clear. No? For example, the positive opposite of, what was it, Dave, the shouting is speaking in a calm manner or speaking calmly, right? So the parents, sometimes, their prompt would be no shouting, don't shout, okay? Don't run, okay? Don't hit. Okay, these are the usual prompts of parents. So we're trying to teach them that the prompts should be clear, no, on what we want the child to do, not what we want the child not to do. Is that clear? So the rule here is the prompt should be something that a dead person cannot do. Clear ba to? Dead person rule eh. So, something that a dead person cannot do. So, when you say don't shout, can a dead person do that? Don't shout? No. Are you sure, Dave? I'm seeing Dave like this. Can a dead person not shout?
Yeah, that person cannot shout.
That's right, right? So, when you say don't shout, that's something that a dead person can do. So, that's not a good prompt. Klaro ba? No? So the prompt should be what you want the patient to do. So instead of don't shout, how should the prompt be?
Speak calmly po.
Speak calmly. Okay. So tama, no? So when you say speak calmly, can a dead person do that?
No.
No. So that's a good prompt. Klaro ba? Okay. But aside from that, the parent, of course, should keep calm and keep a positive tone in their voice. They can in their voice. They cannot say, "Speak calmly," and they're not calm. Okay? So again, no, at the onset pa lang, you should teach the parents about modeling. Di ba? Learned na yun ang behavior, no? Learned yun na siya. Parents don't understand Na sometimes they say, sige, magsagit-sagit dok, pero when the parent is mad, magsagit-sagit po si parent. So, it's difficult for the child, no, to not shout when the parent is shouting. So that's why usahay, no, when you're still in the session 1, the parent, di gina kaya dok, di gina kaya, anak, maglago po dok, makasagit po saya ha. You teach your parents how to do relaxation techniques, breathing, no, leaving the room when they're really feeling overwhelmed, right? Those are the things that you can teach your parents, okay? So they should be calm, keep a positive tone in their voice, add please, no, because it gives the child that feeling that they're being respected. Stay close to the child and make eye contact, right? They cannot be on their phone saying, speak calmly, but looking at their phones. And avoid asking a question, such as, how does this happen? Asking a question as a prompt. Can you give me an example?
Do you think shouting helps?
Pwede, no? So you're saying that as a prompt. So it doesn't help, right? Because the child might say, yes, I think it helps. No? What else? Like, let's say, asking a question to prompt a child to clean his room. Can you give me an example of that? Can you please clean your room? So the child might say no, right? So avoid asking a question. It should be clear. Please clean your room. But a better one for that would be, please sweep the floors and pick up your toys, right? Because that's what cleaning your room means for me. So specific yun, no? If the child is not doing the behavior, you can prompt for it, but no more than twice, okay? But if they still don't do it, then at the onset, the parents can let it go, no? Because the parent is still practicing to do the prompts. And dili pwede na, can you please, please wash the dishes and then clean the table and then go to sleep. So that's a bit overwhelming for the child, no? Especially for children with ADHD. Unsa daw? Clean the dishes and then that's it, no? They cannot get what's next. So it should be per step. Okay, so here, as I mentioned, this can be a poor prompt. Pick up your toys. Better would be, sorry, this is not better. Please pick up your trucks and put them in the toy box, okay? Be good. Don't fool around. What does that mean? No, if I'm the child, what does that mean? Don't fool around. I'm not fooling around. But if the parent says, when you are in school, remember to keep your hands to yourself and stay in your seat. Clear, no? Put your dish in the sink. Can be better with, please put your dish in the sink when you're done. Okay? This one, no, is a question. How many times do I have to tell you to turn off the TV? Right? So this one is better. John, please turn off the TV. Okay. And I think this is what Mike's example earlier, right? Do you think it's good, parang it's good to shout, or do you think it's better to shout? So is it such a good idea to play rough with your toys? Okay, don't, because you're trying to prompt the behavior that you want to happen, no? But if you ask the question like this, parang you're trying to get the reasoning of your child. So, kato, no? So at the end of the session 1, the goal of the parents would be, diba, they already identified the problem behavior they want to change, but they have to count it. Okay, so they have to count the number of times the problem behaviors happen every day for the next week, because then you would know if you're actually addressing the problem, no? If the behavior is actually decreasing. Okay? So makita ninyo siya sa inyong session 1 worksheet, no, at the end. So mura siya, the parent should be able to submit it to you, not really submit, show you, no, on the next session. So it can be weekly sessions or every 2 weeks, kung dili gid kaya weekly for your schedule. Session 2, na by questions for session 1? Clear man, no? It's clear?
Yes, but no.
Oo. Sige, so session 2, positive reinforcements and timeout. No? So again, what are positive reinforcements in the ABCs of behavior? Under hello guys. ABCs of the behavior, asa mag-fall imong positive reinforcement sa
The consequences.
tama. Okay, sige. Do you know time out? Wala pa. Ay, kabalo mo mag-time out? Wala. Sige, later we'll find out what timeout is. So reinforcement is the procedure of increasing and strengthening behavior by following it with a reward or reinforcer. Okay? So anytime the parents give attention, that's a reinforcer, no? When the child is playing quietly, dili pansinon, dili hilabtan kay hilom-hilom, no? Yes, mag-cellphone ko. But when the child is already throwing a tantrum, then the parents give attention by scolding. The child actually feels like, okay, I'm being given attention when I throw a tantrum. So what would happen? They would throw tantrums more, to gain attention. And remember, children man good, their world is really their parents, no? No matter in what form, any attention from the parent is really reinforcing. Okay, so remember that they only do everything they do for the parents, their audience or their parents. Now, the parents think, gina-personal sila ba no? Hindi ko dyan siya minos ako, doon sila siya syagit-syagit. But the parents doesn't know na when they give attention, pag magsyagit-syagit ang child, they're actually reinforcing it. Right? But when the child plays quietly, di nila hilabtan kaya nag-play quietly, when in fact, they should give the attention when the child is playing quietly to reinforce playing quietly instead of the shouting. Okay? Yeah, so there are 4 types of reinforcers, materials, no? Such as tangible items, privileges or activity reinforcers such as, okay, sige, if you're able to do what I say, we can go to the beach, no? Or we can paint later. Social reinforcers includes your parents' approval, smile, hug, or praise. Dako na gyud kay ni siya, no? The approval. Wow, Mike, I'm so happy that you cleaned your room, no? And then hugging, praising, right? And then, so, sometimes parents think na, ay, gipicturan, kaya para i-post sa Facebook. But the child doesn't really appreciate that, no? That they are being posted means they are being approved of. So it's really important that the parents do this with the child, no? Interact with the child instead of, ay, picture, and then post, and then that's it, no? And then token reinforcers is anything, for example, a certain coin that represents points, no? For example, okay, every time you wash the dishes, I'll give you a token, let's say a coin or a card. And then when you are able to get 10 cards, we can go to the store and buy the toy that you want. No? So token siya instead of material diretso. Okay? Sige, so medyo clear na siya, no? So list down the rewards that they usually give their children. For example, so this will give you an idea of what the parents do to reinforce the child. So a lot of parents would give material reinforcers, toys, cell phones, new clothes. So they should just be able to identify it. No? Again, pag mag-PMT good ta, we're also like the parents of the parents. So, dili gud ta supposedly judgmental like, di yun na maayo ma'am, sige hatag og material things, mo din na imong ginahatag, mo di ay, sige ni kabadlong imong anak, no? So, we really should be avoiding that. Again, unconditional positive regard towards the parents. So, the therapist discusses the basic rules for selecting and using reinforcers. Supposedly, pag maingon kag reinforcer, ma-increase gyud niya ang positive behavior. If dili niya ma-increase, like for example, may nga parents na, tingala po dok, magsiyam ko hatag ani kwarta niya. Di ba po niya himuon? Then that's not a reinforcer. It's only a reinforcer if it increases the desired behavior. Okay? It should occur immediately. Di ka mo ingon nga, sige, paglimpyo. kay mananatag TV. Pagka maglimpyo, ay, matulog sa tao eh. Unya na lang ka magtanong TV kay pagka man magtulog. Di na to effective imuhang reinforcer, no, which is the activity, right? Di na tumuto ang child sa imuhan next time. Mo, magyapon, di magyapon ako makuha. No? And the child must perform the desired behavior. Mayong kag manlimpyo, dapat na-define ninyo sa pasabot sa manlimpyo og room, bago niya mag-receive ang enforcer. Let's say, mutanag TV. Mayong galing panlimpyo sa akin, mutanag TV. Tapos pagkaunya, mayong ka, sige ta, ano na tag TV, maski gwa pa ka nanlimpyo. Dili na siya mahimong effective, no, na reinforcer. And then, for new behavior support, reinforcers need to follow the behavior every time. But later on, nanatay gitawag ng mga staggered reinforcers. No, sometimes the parents give the reinforcer, sometimes no, because that increases the behavior. Can you give me an example of that? Nga mahitabo. And it's very common. Kabalo mo ng slot machine sa casino. That's what it does, no? Butang kag coin, usahay makadaog ka, usahay dili, 'di ba? Pero pag makadaog ka, ma-reinforce, hala, nakadaog ko. Magsige na pagkag butang, magsige na pagkag butang. Until the next time na makadaog ka, but it's not every time that you win, right? So mo siya ginana, no? That's why it's very addictive. Because the reinforcer is not predictable. So it's just like that, no, sa behaviors. Pag sugod pa lang, sige, every time, himuon niya. But later on, pwede nang dili na every time, no, because it actually reinforces the behavior more. Okay, so this is an example of the point incentive chart. No, medyo klaro, get dressed, 10 points, brush teeth, 10 points. So after atong this one, the reinforcer, na-identify na ninyo sa parents, then katong positive behaviors, ipanglista sa parents, no, what they want to happen, and we'll now practice reinforcing it. No? So kani siya, mo ng 10 points, 10 points, kay murag tokens ni iyang gigamit. No? Let's say, if maabot ka 100 points, I will buy that Lego that you want. Pwede, no? Okay? So, dapat klaro, yun, dili na, for example, nag-get dressed siya, pero nagtantrum siya. Di ta ka taga-ag points, kaya nagtantrum ka. That's not good. Because, the desired behavior happened, di ba? They got dressed. No? So, dapat ihatag ito na sa parents ang points. So, again, remember to praise, and then they should review the chart every day, no? Let's say, wow, you got 10 points for dressing up today, no? This makes me happy. And then, have some of the rewards available every day. If mahuman niya, and then monto yung gisabutan na reward, ay hatag ito dapat sa parent na reward. Give rewards as agreed. Encourage your child to buy rewards each time. And bring the point chart to the session or session 3 with you. Okay? Sige. So, let's go to praises, no? So, pag mag-praise gani sa child, teach the parent to deliver the praise when they are near the child. Dili pa din ang layo, no? Dapat near. So that the child pays attention. Sincere, enthusiastic tone of voice. Dili pwede nang murag lutang, no? Bitaw, no? Maayo, ano, no? Dili kayo effective, no? So, they don't need to be loud, but they should sound thrilled, no? When they say, nalipay ko sa imong gihimo. Dapat ka na murag nalipay po jud ka, no? Nalipay po jud si parent. Non-verbal, like smiling, touching, hugging, okay? And they should be specific, no? As I mentioned earlier, di ba, with Dave, wow, Dave, I'm so happy. You gave the positive opposite of the behavior. So, inana, no? Dili pa din ang good job, very good. Ano, no? Dili na siya specific, no? So, dili makabalo ang child. What's man na very good, no? Okay. Now, praises can also be encourage ng behavior that whatever it is that the parents consciously is not really valuing with the child. For example, no, there was a study done. Parents were asked, no, which values they want their child, where they teach their child. So a lot of them said na it's really more like attitude, like being kind, instead of getting good grades. But when the children were asked, dili to mao ilang gipili, no? They feel like their parents actually choose like better grades more. So kana, no? Because better grades get praises, right? But being kind probably doesn't get a lot of praise, no? Most of the time at home. Okay? So kana siya, important yun ang praises. Okay, so punishment, these are repercussions that can occur with physical, harsh, verbal, or prolonged, no? But, sorry. Punishment is anything that's physical, verbal, no? That the parent does to decrease the behavior, right? But there's a repercussion if it's physical or harshly verbal. And what are these repercussions? Short-term lang ang success, no? So, usually, mag-work sa start, pero tingala sila, sige nilang i-threaten ng child, no? Di naman mag-work. Of course, it can cause emotional reactions such as crying, anger, or fear of the parent. And the child is likely to avoid the parent. If sige siya mabunalan, mahadlok na siya karon sa parent. Okay? And then, prolonged punishments can actually cause the child to become aggressive. Diba? Kung mag-hit good ka sa child, no, that teaches the child that if they're angry, they can hit you too. And it decreases the child's aggressiveness at home, but in school, sometimes they become more aggressive. Kasi syempre at home, hadlok sila sa ilang parent. But when they're in school, wala si parent, then they display more aggression. Now, prolonged punishment of this physical or verbal kind actually does not teach the child, no, how you want the child to behave. Let's say, nagsyagit-syagit, imo siyang gibunalan. That doesn't really teach the child that you wanted him pala to speak calmly, right? Okay, so time out. So time out is a kind of a punishment, no, or a consequence that is not harsh and it's very doable at home, especially for children who are young, let's say mga 12 or below. So when you use time out, you remove the child from the opportunity to receive attention. So they're placed in a room, no, in a boring, non-reinforcing place after a problem behavior occurs, and they will stay there for some time. Depende sa inyong sabot sa parents o sa child. Okay? So we draw all attention. Magkilak-kilak man siya dira, mag-wild-wild man siya dira sa room, as long as he's safe. The parent should withdraw all attention. Okay? So this one, time out, will not be effective if there's no time in. And what is the time in? Your positive reinforcements, no? So kung sige nagka-punish ang child, di na gina mag-work. Because again, di ba, ang child manggod nangita rin na siya o attention from you. So you should be giving that attention, that attending when they're doing the positive behavior. And when they're doing the negative behavior or the problem behavior, you give them the time out. So mas effective gud ang time out kay when they're doing the desired behavior, ginatagaan mo sila attention. Okay? Klaro ba na? Sige, so the parent should remain calm. Usually, ilasa ning sabutan, no? When they're both calm, they should talk about, okay, you know what? When you're hitting your siblings, it's a behavior that mommy and daddy don't like, no? Because of course, it's hurtful to your siblings. So let's have an agreement that if you do it again, you will be placed in timeout. So explain to sa child, no? And then, ang number of minutes sa timeout would correspond sa ilang edad. Let's say, 5 years old, 5 minutes. Okay? Sa timeout. So, abinin mo no, short lang, pero for them, long, nijud kayo ng 5 minutes, nagipalingkod sila dito sa gilid. Pwede ganun siya dili room. They can just be in a corner with the chair facing the corner, right? And they have no access to anything. That's very long. Sit there for 5 minutes for a 5-year-old child. So, dapat klaro yun sa child, no? Na timeout will happen if they are displaying the problem behavior. Okay? So, the parents should remain calm, use timeout immediately. So, for example, then hit siya sa siblings, dayon. No, dili pwede. Sige, unya na lang. No, di na siya effective ang timeout. So, if you need to take a privilege away, do it for a short period of time. Okay? So, but the consistency is the most important thing. And then, of course, praise and reinforce your child's positive behaviors, no? Okay, again, timeout will not work if there's no time in. Okay. So, examples would be temper tantrums versus handling problems calmly. So, if temper tantrums, pwede i-time out. Pag mag-tease sa others, pwede i-time out. But when they're playing cooperatively, they should also receive the positive reinforcement. Okay? Sige. So, kani siya, maghimo gyud ang parents ani with their child. Example, physically hurting the sister. Definition of the behavior is any form of physical hurt such as pwede hitting, pwede ka nang pitkan lang. So any form of physical no. So 5 minutes in the timeout. And I did know some personal friends who are also parents and also recommended this to some parents of younger children yun kana nasa mga elementary years. Effective gud ba siya? I was also surprised nga di po day ganahan ang child sa timeout. Okay? Sige. So do you have questions for session 2? Please see the process in how timeout is being discussed, with the children. Naani siya sa inyuhang manual. Na direo na ay mga role play, So you role play with the parents, It's like you're the child and he can be the parent or pwede baliktad so he can learn from you or she can learn from you. Ana ha, ang role playing. Questions for session 2? Wala? Alright. Yes.
Among the reinforcers po na you mentioned mo, Doc, which is the most effective?
Of course, any of the Hello, Mekong?
Yes.
Oo, any of the reinforcer is effective, Wala man jud most effective. Pero kung puro lang material reinforcers, dili mo possible, di ba? Kay sige lang palit ang parents, Whereas ang social reinforcers are readily available. Okay? So I think dito sila magdaog, Kung mag-smile lang siya, mag-praise siya, effective man gihapon, why not do it more often, Less pod ang financial burden sa parents, okay? Is that clear, Mekong?
Do we do ba, Doc? Parang yung reinforcers natin na ginagawa, Doc, do we parang partner po natin depende sa bata or
Hello, Mekong, sorry. Again?
Hello, Doc.
Yeah.
Reinforcers.
Go ahead.
Ano ba natin siya, Doc? Parang partner natin depende sa yung personality ng bata or how, parang expression of love na niya, Doc, or parang na-praise siya.
Yeah, So actually, when they do the point incentive chart, dapat lingkuran nila with the bata, Kay pangutanan nila ang bata, unsa important sa bata, let's say, gusto siya og a new toy, So dito jud ka. Kay kung mogamit kag reinforcer nga dili important sa child, then dili gud niya ma-reinforce ang behavior, diba? So, like for example, I have a child na, 15, ang gusto gud niya is to spend time with the dad because the dad is very busy. So, siya, activity siya na reinforcer for him. And it worked, because before they used to buy him, tingala sila, dili mo jud mag-work, ang material things. Kato di ay, that's not what's important to him. It's really spending time with the dad. So, when they did biking, it was really, nakita gud nila, na nag-change gud ang behavior, nag-enforce gud itong mga positive behavior na gusto nila makita sa child. Is that clear?
Yes. Thank you, Doc.
So, dapat, as a parent, maglingkod siya with the child. Okay, let's talk about this point incentive chart. There are behaviors I want to see with you, but as a reward, or sige, we'll talk about material rewards, what do you want, So, dapat, capable po jud, realistic po for the parent to be able to give that reward. Okay? So, hello, Meko?
Okay po, Doc.
Okay. Any other questions for session 2? Wala na? Session 3, attending, planned ignoring, and reprimands. So when we say attending, this is also a consequence, right? Planned ignoring is also a consequence, and reprimands are also consequences. Attending, meaning paying attention, noticing when the child is doing something desirable. And planned ignoring is basically when the parent does not give any attention, okay? So when they are using ignoring, the parent does not look at the child, talk to them, smile, or the parent can turn away, talk to someone else, or just leave the room, okay? So I'm not sure if you've heard about that experiment with infants, no? They did with the parents, as in totally murag walay blank expression. The infant will do everything to get the parents' attention. Diba? So mopod na, no? Even in younger children and even in adolescents, no? You know, adolescents would, murag kumbaga, they are saying that they need independence, they should be allowed to do whatever they want, but I always tell the parents that, you know, adolescents actually want to be limit set, you know? So parents don't know that eh. They feel like adolescent children, gusto nila pasagdian lang sila. Pero actually, they don't want that. Gusto nila na i-guide yapon sila sa ilang parents. But at the same time, allowing room ba to grow. Okay? So attending and planned ignoring can be used with them. So rules for attending, again, define the behavior that they want to increase. Let's say, cleaning the room, no? So, dapat who, kinsa mag-clean sa room, what, that's cleaning the room. Again, where, the room, and when, let's say, cleaning the room in the morning. And decide the type of attention to use. Would it be praising, hugging, okay? So, specific praise is most effective when paired with attention and interest, no? If the parent genuinely is interested in what the child is doing, that increases the behavior of the child. And decide when to use it. So murag yun, attending is really a reward for them. For ignoring, so ignoring is deemed as a negative, ignoring, no? So it's a punishment, no? A consequence. Kaya imo man gitanggal. Tanggal kag something to decrease the behavior. Tama. So again, define the behavior to be ignored. When you are ignoring, tell the parents to look away, move away, no facial expression. Sometimes man good, the parents can do this, pero syempre murag mag-init-init ang ulo sa parents, no? So some here, okay. I understand that Sheng, Davy, and I think Mike, no, soon will also become a parent. Tama ba? Yeah, so so these can be useful, no? Pag mayunggi kag ignoring, yun, dili pa din ang ignoring nga gisipat-sipatan ni mo siya, gisigasigahan og mata, no? Mabiyan nang gamit sa atong mga mama sa una, no? Kung kanang mag-action na magkuwag tsinelas, hadlok na ka, di ba? Pero children nowadays, dili na kayo na effective for them. So, set an acceptable limit of tolerance. Kung magsige ka ng tantrums and then you use planned ignoring, you should set hantod asa kung mo ignore. If the child is already hurting himself, hurting others with the tantrums, then maybe ignoring is not a good idea. No, it would not be a good idea to use ignoring. Okay. So, what are the common problems to ignore? Whining, bad table manners, complaining. Again, no, bad table manners. Unsa gid ba imuhang gusto makita sa imong child? That's what you attend to. No, give attention if they're eating quietly, no. But if they are what, flinging food everywhere, no, you either plan to ignore it, or you can give a prompt to your child, no, or give a reprimand. Reprimand. Okay. So, kanisha, others should be unable to play alone, pleading to be bought things in store. This one can be ignored, no? Diba, usahay magsyagit-syagit. If the parents just plan to ignore, sometimes the children stop man, no? Because their crying or their tantrums are used to get attention lang. Okay, so again, on the other hand, reprimands is also a form of punishment, but it's a verbal expression of disapproval. Okay, it's not a prompt. A prompt then is an antecedent, but a reprimand is a consequence. So gestures such as frowning, glaring, no, head shaking are also signals of disapproval. It can be most powerful if both verbal and a gesture, no? So di ka pwede nga, ayaw pag ginana, pero nagkakatawa ka, no? So that is not an effective reprimand. Effective reprimands always praise positive behavior. So reprimands alone will not teach new or appropriate behavior, okay? Such as telling the child to stop shouting, right? It will not teach the child that what you want there is speaking calmly. So the reprimand should be specific, like what to stop, okay? Stop shouting because I cannot hear you when you are I cannot understand what you're saying when you're shouting. Pwede, diba? So, what to stop? It's the shouting. Why? Because I cannot hear you. And then tell the child what to do instead. Okay? You can tell them, please speak calmly. Okay? Klaro ba na siya? So, dapat klaro din ang reprimand, no? Firm and calm tone of voice, non-verbal expressions of disapproval. Of course, again, just like praises, reprimand should be delivered when the parent is close to the child, no? Use eye contact. If they are already reprimanding, they should not use ignoring. So either ignoring or reprimands. Okay? Dili pwede nga gi-reprimand na nimo siya tapos gi-ignore nimo. Kaya di na to effective in mo reprimand. Okay. Stay in control. Again, in control of your own emotion, you tell the parents. So, okay, before we go to session 4, questions for session 3. That naman. Okay, so session 4 includes compromising. So, muna ni siya ang last, no? Compromising. Kaya diba, they already learned how to set antecedents, the prompts, and then they already learned how to set the consequences that would most likely increase the positive opposite behavior. Now, especially in adolescents, the parents should learn compromising, diba? Meeting in the middle. Dili pwede si parents lang pero may masunod. Dili pwede si child lang pero may masunod. So, compromising. So, for you guys, let me ask those who are parents here, like si Sheng. Sheng, how old is your kid?
Hello, Doc. 7 po.
7. Ayan, for ages 7 and 8. Okay, can you tell us, Sheng, which of these are negotiable for you and non-negotiable? So, let's say having friends sleep over, is that negotiable for you? Let's say, walay pandemic.
Yes po. Yes.
Yes. Having a pet,
Yes po.
dress style, meaning they can dress however they want. Yes ba to?
Yes po.
Bedtime?
Yes.
Buta na ni Sheng, no? Meaning, bedtime, ha? Meaning, if they say, Mommy, I want to sleep at 2 a.m., no? So, meaning but you're not saying you're going to say yes. No, you're saying that, okay, it's negotiable.
Yes
Snack
po.
time. Snack time.
Yes, Doc.
Okay. And what to have for a snack?
Yes, tapos minsan no din, Doc.
So, meaning negotiable naman, no? Negotiable. So, why gihapon? Yes, gihapon, right? When you say no, as in ako lang yun magbuot, no? The parent will say what to have for a snack. Okay? And chores? No one? Nawala si Sheng, no? Sige. Having friends over, going to a friend's house. So these are the things that you discuss with the parents. No? What is negotiable for them or not. Tapos this one, sa adolescents, medyo tricky na gyud, no? Like, kanino? having friends sleep over, R-rated movies. Okay? Kani siya for ages 9 to 13 and up ni siya, guys ha. Dating, overnights with friends, parties, tattoos, no? So depende sa parents what is allowed for them. Sometimes parents have tattoos, but for their children, it's non-negotiable. No? So that's very tricky. Kay modeling man good gihapon na. No? So if they see their parents having tattoos, it's hard for the children to understand why they're not allowed to have tattoos themselves. Okay? Spending habits, no? If the parent spends a lot. So this is, okay, personally, I think this is something that we should be very careful, no? Because if we're buying a lot of toys, no, this is for Davy, the younger and children, buying a lot of toys for the child. Later on, they would think that, okay, it's okay to spend. Okay. Sige, so these are the steps and rules for compromising. Again, the parent should become good, effective ang parenting if the parent is not calm. Okay? So, if they are very overwhelmed, suko kayo, they should leave the room, make a phone call, or at least do anything that allow them to be calm. Be objective, no? So, dili pwede na, because this is my stand, na di ka dapat mag-dress na sexy kaayo, medyo difficult good ang compromising, especially if the child wants to wear what all the people in TikTok wear. So, medyo lisod, no? When the parent decides na, okay, I will compromise, they should go into the discussion with an open mind. They should be a good listener. Dili pwede nang magstorya ang child. Wala bitaw natubag sa parent, no? Kaya naa siya'y lahi nagiingon. Okay? The parent should be respectful. Okay? Dili pwede nang the child lang, only the child should respect the parent. Di good na effective na mo yun, bitaw ang parent na ako ang mama, ako ang masunod. Have you heard that from your parents? Hello, na pa ba ko audience?
Yes po.
No? Kataunan magud kaayo ning parents, no? Mayingon na ayaw pagstorya, ayaw pagtubag-tubag. Tapos pag-unya kung di ka mo tubag, ngano nga makay tubag-tubag? Ano, no? Wala jud kay kadaugan. Especially our parents, right? So, dili na pwede, no, na ako ang parent, ako ang masunod. Especially in adolescents, ha? The more they do that, the parents, the more na mag-rebel ang child. Okay? So, compromise yun. So, be respectful. Stay on the subject. Dili pwede na, like they're talking about, okay, going out with friends. No? And then the parent will say, ay, dili pwede ka mag-go out with friends, no? Kaya, wag ganin mo gihipos to imong katre. Ana, no? So, that's a different issue, right? They should, when compromising, they should try to resolve one conflict at a time. So, for example, going out with friends, the child wants to go out with friends, but the parent doesn't want the child to be going out late at night, no? So, pwede, compromising can be, okay, you can go out siguro in the afternoon and then come back at a certain time, no? So, that's compromise, meeting in the middle. Okay. So, if the parent disagrees with the child, they should offer suggestions. But, dili pwede ng no lang. Okay? Dili pwede. No? So, they can offer suggestions to the child. And focus on the present. Okay? Don't bring up the past. No? So, remind your parents. Sa ato ba ang parents, no? Kay ganahan kay mo balik-balik. Maski nahuman na, balik-balikon jud, balik-balikon. So, for the parent to be effective, they should not be doing it. So they should gather information. Okay, tell me, no, you want to go out with your friends. Can you tell me more about it? Who will be going with you? Ana, no? And then they can summarize it to the child to make sure that they have heard the information correctly. Okay? And then now the parent, for example, no, I want to go out with my friends because they are my close friends, they're going to the beach, and I'm the only one that is not going. No? So FOMO, si child. So the parent can just, murag balikon lang niya sa child na, okay, I'm hearing from you that you want to go with your friends because of course they're close to you and you want to go with them, you wouldn't want to be left out. Okay? Now, the parent should state their own view of the issue. Now, for me, of course, I want you to go with your friends. However, I'm concerned that wala mo kauban na adult, for example, no? Or you're going to the beach, that's too far, diba? And now, ask the child to summarize their point of view, kung nasabtan ba sa child, okay? Klaro ba na siya? So, focusing on the common interest. Okay, so you repeated my point of view. What are the things that we agreed on? Okay, we agreed that you should be with your friends because it's important to you, right? Diba, mamutog yun sa parent, mamutog yun sa child. And now, create options, okay? Sige, so what are the options? If the concern of the parent is that sila lang, children lang ang mga to, or the adolescents lang, wala ikaw ba na adult, is it an option to have an adult there, no? If the beach is too far, is it an option to choose a beach that's closer? Pwede ba na siya? No? So, no judging. Any idea is good. Okay? And they should come up with as many ideas as possible. For example, ihatod ba ni parents sila sa beach? Okay? Can the parents go to the beach as well but be in a separate group? No? Dili siya muuban dito sa children. All of these ideas are acceptable. And then evaluate options and choose a solution. No? For example, sige, si child would say, di ko gusto mo uban ka, okay? So, dili na ni siya, ex ni siya, okay? But the parent would also say, dili po to ganahan aning wala mo kauban na adult, so ex na ni siya. So, no, ilistang ideas and just choose the idea na acceptable for both of them. And then, write the actual agreement. No? So, for example, they chose a compromise between the two of them. Then they will write it down para klaro. Okay? So, if you will see in your manual, napagid ni siya yung mga role-playing. No? So, if the parents have specific ideas for compromising, you can role that with the parent. Role play that with the parent and use the steps, okay? So the steps again, step 1 is open the discussion and then gathering information and then focus on common interest and then create options and evaluate the options and choose a solution. Okay, 5 steps to do compromise. Right. So we're getting to the end. Do you have any questions before we go to skills review? Any question?
Doc, how long ba ang interval in between sa sessions, Doc?
I would suggest weekly good siya. No? Kaya para dili bitaw mo malimot si parent. Tas naman sila assignments, di ba, in between sessions. If you look at the manual, naan say homework. So, para 1 week na po nila itry ang homework. Tapos kung dili mag-work, they will discuss it with you with the next on the next session. So, weekly is good. Pero dili kaya, pwede po every 2 weeks, medyo dugay-dugay na siya. Pero, muna siguro na maximum, every 2 weeks, no? That they sit with you for less than an hour, no? I think you can finish it mga 45 minutes, the PMT, no? Kana. Ano pa? Of course, at the beginning of the session, dili gyud ta dayon mag-dive into, okay, mo na ni karon, no? We always ask, what happened with the homework? What are your feedback? No, it's good to get feedback from parents, no? What do you think worked? What didn't work? No? So, individualized man jud good ni siya. So, you also have your own notes in your manual for this set of parents, no? Okay, unsa pa? Wala na? How about Si Jam. Jam, are you still in IPBM ba? Or did you end na? Wala na yata si Jam.
Nag-uli na siya, Doc.
Nag-uli na. Okay. Yeah, pero na siya, nag-attend siya dere. Kasi busy. Okay. Kana, no? So ending the PMT, you just review the skills that the parents learned. No, naata sa in your manual, we have different cards here, no, that the therapist can role play with the parent. No, just see. Sometimes I do, like, for example, if another parent asks you, this is the problem with their child, what can you say to that parent? Ana, no, just to check if nabagid na learn si parent sa inyong gihimo na PMT. That would be a good gauge. And then, of course, you just review unsa itong mga interventions that you learned, like positive interventions, the point incentive chart, ang praising, shaping, attending, and then the negative interventions, katong timeout, planned ignoring, and reprimands. Okay? So this is my last slide. Any questions?